One of Wilmington's most historic landmarks is ready for its next act.
Leaders have officially launched construction to transform Thalian Hall. WECT's Mackenzie Bruns learned more about the project today. Mackenzie, what's the goal of this effort?
Well, friend, Thalian CEO Shane Fernando says they want to expand and modernize the historic hall without ever closing the curtain. Construction is underway in one of the oldest active theaters in the country, which also happens to sit in the heart of downtown Wilmington, Thalian Hall.
It is one of the most utilized historic venues in the nation. Pretty remarkable in our community this size.
Built in 1858, the landmark has spent more than a century and a half welcoming audiences. More than 700 events happened here last year, bringing in more than 104,000 people. CEO Shane Fernando says the community's desire to perform in Thalian Hall has outgrown the current space, so much so that sometimes they have to turn groups away simply because there isn't enough room.
Timing could not be more perfect. We have been at capacity for a while now.
Blueprints now line the walls, showing what the future of Thalian Hall will look like. The $25 million project will add new performance space, including 3 new venues across the complex. Councilman David Joyner, who represents the city on the Thalian Hall board, says Thalian Hall raised the money for this project without putting the burden on taxpayers.
I think as we transition city government into a different, more modern space, we were excited about the history of this building and the arts history of this building. Seeing this come to fruition, see the vision actually coming to be reality has been a fantastic experience.
Even with all the new space, Fernando says the goal is to also protect the past.
Every generation before us has lifted Thalian Hall to the next generation, and now it's our turn.
Etching another generation into Thalian's legacy. Fernando says the hope is construction will wrap up by 2028. Audiences may have to use a different door at times to get in and out, but Thalian Hall will stay open and the main stage and Stein Theater will continue hosting shows during construction. Mackenzie Bruns, WECT News.
New tonight at 11, the school board in New Hampshire